Excuse me. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Good morning to you. This is video 777, and I guess I could scoot. No, I need to scoot this. Anyway, video 777, and in a chipper mood. I'm wearing a lipstick that I was told was specially formulated and color coordinated to go with anything. And as near as I can tell, it's kind of hooker red. So hooker red being the red lipstick you buy when you start wearing lipstick, because you've always wanted to wear lipstick and you buy hooker red thinking you're going to wear red lipstick. And for me, I never do. I always wear brown or something. Like when I do wear that, very rarely do I wear lipstick anymore, but I put it on for you because I wanted to make an impression. Quick video. Not too sure what the topic will be, but this is the first Saturday morning that I've had to record a video for the past 2 months or so. Every Saturday morning I get up and I go to the blood bank and sell my blood, and this is the first week I've not done that, so I'm actually more awake than I thought it would be. But a couple things to talk about this week. One being that my daughter needed some choir or chorus. I didn't realize that high school choruses wear outfits. They wear uniforms, dresses in my daughter's case, and or tuxedos in the boys' case. And so I needed to come up with money real quick, and that's what I did. And so I'm glad that that's over and I don't have to do it anymore. So I don't know if you can see the spot right there. That was last week's donation. So my body had basically was telling me you need to stop. So I'm glad I did. It all kind of worked out. But I wanted to answer a question that I got this week from Sky and Telescope magazine. They asked me about if I was concerned about the Del estrogen. I have not gotten the estrogen yet. I still have from a couple years ago in the bottles from the pharmacy, from the mail order pharmacy, Del estrogen that expired in 2019, 2 years ago. And I have been waiting. Had another little kerfunkel this week where the prior authorization had been approved for 24 hours for some reason. And, the pharmacy didn't move on it. And so 24 hours went by and the prior authorization wasn't good anymore, and they didn't fill it because it wasn't good anymore. And heaven forbid they tell me about it. So I didn't find out about it till a couple days later, and kind of called and talked to the person and kind of went through the steps and just kind of said, look, I'm a person, you're a person. There's a person on the other end at the pharmacy. We people need to get together and figure out how we can get the computers to communicate. And people power, I think, is what got it done. I was very patient, very polite, because I wanted something. I was very patient and very polite. Did not go into Karen mode, as the internet has so blessed my name with an ugly epithet. Did not go into let me speak to your manager mode, and we worked it out. So in theory, knock on plastic, in theory, in about 4 days, I haven't checked it today. I've been checking it every day. It'll ship and it'll get to me, and then I'll throw these guys away. And to answer the question, no, I'm not. I don't recommend it. I'm not advocating. I'm kind of the opinion that much like the grocery store, um, the sell by date, the fresh date, um, in theory, is there to keep you from buying rotten food, right? But working at my time at Publix when I worked in Florida, and then later here at Dollar Tree when I worked at Dollar Tree, uh, it's not going to kill it. Well, I'm not going to say that. To each their own. To each their own. I have found for myself and for myself only that definitely I can eat sour cream a couple days after the expiration date with no problem. Obviously, it depends on the situation. Sometimes I feel like the expiration date is kind of a cover my ass from the manufacturer, so that but obviously if you brought milk home and it tasted funny, you'd take it back, right? So it's just kind of a guideline. And you can go to my fridge, and probably there's pickles, that are like a year past their date. Well, it's vegetables in salt water. It's not going to go bad. But anyway, yeah, there. So no, I'm not necessarily concerned for myself. And then the follow-up question they asked was about, have I noticed any effects? And luckily the tail fell off after a couple days. I didn't have to worry about that. It did bother me initially, but I got used to it. And then the tail fell off, and the scales that I had grown, they also went away. So I'm not too concerned about that. I think psychosomatically, there's just something about, and maybe because I can remember when I started this wonderful journey 5 or so years ago, 7 or so years ago, the euphoria, back then I was injecting myself, I think, with 5 milliliters, quite a lot comparatively. And it was such a rush. It was such a, I could feel it. And whether it was true or not, my brain kind of was like, oh, finally getting estrogen. And so it's more psychosomatic. It's like, just it makes me feel good knowing that I'm getting something, even if all that's in the jar now is just the oil. I don't know what the oil is. Let's see here. Benzenate, castor oil. Okay, there's castor oil in there. Didn't people used to drink castor oil? I think they did. I wouldn't drink it, but again, even if it's just castor oil, and it just makes me feel like I'm doing something, anything. Have I noticed any effects? I feel like my breasts are beginning to inflate again, for lack of a better word. Let's see, I stopped taking estrogen in October of 2019, and around and about the spring of 2020, 6 months later, my breasts just, deflated and went away because my body was recycling. It didn't have the instructions and the blueprints that said keep this, and that could be total bullshit. You could say, oh, but isn't it fat and tissue, and women don't lose their breasts. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But as far as how I felt like the breasts were beginning to inflate. The mass, and it might have been, again, up in my head, might have just been psychosomatic. But I became aware of, let me put it this way, I became aware of my breasts again, where I had just kind of gotten so used to them, I ignored them. It wasn't like the initial, when my breasts began to swell and your areola or your nipple gets tender. Not as much as that, but definitely I could feel like something was going on, and whether it was true or not, I don't know. I will also say that my attitude has changed. Um, testosterone can be such a fuel for anger and aggression. And estrogen, to me, my reaction is it is like a baby blanket. It's like a soothing, just comfort pillow. And situations would come up at work that maybe a month or two ago I would have like kind of walked away and gone into the bathroom and kind of to myself, God, fucking bitch, that cunt. And I don't do that now. I just kind of, I'm like, oh, did I do something wrong? Oh my goodness. I'm kind of like removed from it a little bit. And again, whether that's just I guess it is kind of neutral. I'm just sorry. It's not, I'm not as aggressive. I'm more passive. And, that may also just be because after months of trying to get this going, it's happening again, getting the estrogen. I don't know. I could be full of shit. So I do want to thank Sky and Telescope for asking me that question. A long history with Sky and Telescope. Let's see what else is going on. Not much else. This being the first Saturday that I've actually had off, and donating blood was a 3 to 4 hour experience. And then I would come home and go to sleep, because my body was drained, and it took time to remake the chemicals and everything. So I think almost borderline, not anemic, but anemia, you lose your energy and then you have to eat iron to get that back. Anyway, so the short of it is my Saturdays used to be just sleep all day and then go grocery shopping and then go into work on Sunday because it's the end of the year. Healthcare, we've just been working overtime. 10 hours a week, which I know is small potatoes to some people, but 100 hours bi-weekly just sucks you dry. It's nice. The money is nice, but when you're selling your blood on your only day off, you kind of get drained. And my daughter was a trooper. Literally would come home from work and cook, do a little bit of cleaning, visit with her, make sure she was okay, help her with her homework, and then I go to bed, and that's been, for, 12 or so weeks. And so it's kind of nice to just think about what I want to do and look around. And I made a mention about I wrecked my one surviving plane, which is not true. I still have this little guy, this little Piper Cub, which looks like a toy, but it's really, and it's a linear servos underneath there. But this is just such a fun plane to fly. And usually you can get it, getting into the wind. And so then you can start to, if you angle it up, you can just start to hover, which I've mentioned before as a helicopter pilot. That's what I'm used to, is hovering. And it's just kind of neat to just kind of get it in just the right, you kind of like birds do, where they angle and they kind of hover. It's just kind of a nice feeling. So my goal for today is to clear off my workbench, and then this is foam core. This is what the same stuff that you make science fair projects out of, the tri-panel foam core. You can get sheets of this at the dollar store. We used to sell them at Dollar Tree. But what this is this is actually an airplane. If you can see it. Ooh, it's an Edge plane. And so my goal is to build this later today. And just some hot glue and a little bit of know-how, and you can build the plane. I've got tons and tons of old electrics. You can't dig them out now, but just take my word for it. I've already got speed controllers and plenty of servos and plenty of batteries. So I've got all the hardware that I need, and it's just kind of neat. I used to build those about 10 years ago. They're a lot of fun. And if you crash them, usually they survive because it's foam and real easy to repair, real easy. So probably the wave of the future for me. And that's just about it. Someone, Sarah, once again, on her Facebook page had a bit of wisdom that I'll share with you, and then I'll shut the fuck up. And sorry, my language has also gotten a lot looser. She had something on her page about little steps, and that, after we have trauma in our life or something big, there's kind of a tendency to try and get everything done at once or accomplish big things. And she made the mention that, sometimes it's easier to just make a small step. Once that's done, maybe make a bigger step. And I think that's definitely something that, I've found a good thing. My ex-wife, bless her heart, for putting up with me for so many years. When it would come time to clean house, she would get all sweaty and she would try to clean the whole house at once. And it wasn't like sweep the floors and dust. It was, I'm going to get the rag out and I'm going to wipe all the baseboards. And, it was cleaning to such a high degree that, she would tire herself out and then sit and do nothing. And then no cleaning would get done. And I can do that too. But what I kind of call heavy lifting, after like this morning, months of not sweeping the kitchen floor, just getting the big stuff off the floor is good enough. And next week, maybe we'll sweep the floor. And then the week after that, maybe we'll mop the floor. You don't have to do everything all at once, I guess is the big thing. And when you get old, sometimes you can't do more than that. Another thought, and then I'll shut up, I promise. Had the opportunity to kind of, go out and have some fun last night. And, it saddened me that I didn't have another adult to do something with. And, prior to the start of the school year, which is when my daughter needed the chorus outfit, which led to me selling my blood for the past couple months, that's when I kind of had my ex-boyfriend, And there was part of me last night as I was kind of driving around, and I was, I wanted to go play video games. There's a bar near us that has like 100 vintage video games in it. It has Gauntlet, Altered Beast, Centipede, Donkey Kong, that genre, but also other games from my time, Heavy Barrel, lots of fun games. Heavy Barrel. And I didn't have anyone to go with, And it saddened me somewhat because I could, and maybe that's where the estrogens, oh, poor me. Not to have someone to do that with. And I like to think that, I probably could, most of the people I play D&D with are we're spread out. You know, we play D&D over the internet, and so, you know, one's in LaGrange, one's in, 40 minutes away. You know, but it would be kind of nice to have someone to go watch a movie with. You know, Dune is out. I'd love to go see Dune. The new Marvel movie is out, The Eternals, which I really don't care about. But I would go, But, that's something that I don't have in my life right now. And maybe I will one day. It would be irresponsible of me to take Katie to a bar. Okay, I'm not that's not what I'm saying. But, like Katie doesn't like to go out to eat. And growing up, my dad periodically would say, "Hey, let's go out to eat tonight." And it was hurrah. And we would all go out to eat. We would have fun. It was just a fun experience, to have someone take your order and, to get your salad and you eat your salad, or your soup, and then you're visiting and talking and more rolls, would anyone like some butter? And, a common dinner experience. And it's just not something that I have. It's not something I can do. And maybe I will with somebody someday. But a wise woman once told me that in life we're either lonely or frustrated. And it's very, very true, in my opinion. We're either lamenting being by ourselves or we're frustrated with someone that we live with. There's very, very few gray area in between. So anyway, on that note, I will call it for the day. Yeah, maybe it is kind of neutral. I know, I didn't like it at first. It's growing on me. So I wish you the best of luck in becoming your authentic self, as you define it. And wish you a wonderful, wonderful day. And that's all I can say. So I'll shut up. Till next time. Bye-bye.